Welcome to T1 Academy. In our last session, we started discussing this ratio and proportion. So now in this session, we will discuss some of the questions which are based on mixture type. Actually, there are some dedicated topic that is called mixtures and allegations. There we will see some other questions from this in detail. But as of now, we will see some of the questions which are related to our ratios. Okay. Now, we will see the questions which are related to our ratios. Now, see here, in a 200 grams of alloy, the ratio of copper and zinc is 2:3. Okay, generally alloy means what? A mixture of two or more metals, we call it as an alloy. So, copper and zinc are in what ratio? In 200 grams. Okay, copper and zinc are in the ratio of 2:3. 2:3. Copper and zinc are in the ratio of 2:3. Now, how much copper is added to it? The ratio of copper and zinc in the new alloy is 3:2. Okay. Now, what is happening is we are adding some copper to this. We are adding some copper to this so that the alloy, the ratio becomes what? 2:3. Similar to our previous questions only. If you observe carefully here, what is the portion of copper and zinc they given for us? Copper and zinc. They are 2:3. And now we are adding what? We are adding some quantity of, what it is? Zinc. Copper to it. We are adding some X quantity of copper to this one. So that the ratio became what? 3:2. So that the ratio became what? 3:2. When it comes to zinc portion, is there any change in zinc portion for us here? I mean quantity. In quantity wise, there is no change. But when it comes to this portion, it was changed. So first of all, we will try to equal the zinc portion. How we can equal the zinc portion? By multiplying this with 2 and by multiplying this with what? 3. Am I correct? So now when I multiply this with 2 and this with 3, what happens to this one? It becomes 4 and this becomes 6. That means initial, the first one. It becomes 4 and 6, and later, after an addition of X quantity, it became what now? It becomes 3 and 2. That means 3 3s are 9 and this becomes 6. Same quantity, 6 and 6 here and here. So now for this, please observe carefully. They given us the total initial quantity. What it is? 200 grams. In 200 grams, what is the zinc portion I have? What is the portion of zinc I have? 3 parts. So that means what I can write here? 3 by, total is how many? 5. 3 plus 2 is 5, right? Into 200. 3 by 5 into 200. So 5 ones, 5 40s. So zinc portion will become how much? 120 grams. And when it comes to copper portion, it will become 80 grams. Why? Because total it is 200 grams. In that zinc, if zinc is 120 grams, obviously copper will become how much? 80 grams for us. Copper becomes 80 grams for us. Okay. Now please observe here. Zinc remains same, right? Initial and final. So the final quantity is what? 6 parts. So 6 parts is equal to 120. 6 parts is equal to 120. 6 parts is equal to 120, right? So that means one part becomes how much? One part becomes how much? 20 grams. One part becomes 20 grams for us. So if one part is 20, now please see here from here to here how much difference I have? 5 parts. 5 parts. From here to here, what is the difference I have? 5 parts. So 5 parts becomes how much? 100 grams. So 5 parts becomes what from here? 5 parts is equal to 100 grams. That means we are going to add 100 grams of copper to the alloy so that the ratio becomes 3:2. 3:2. So first of all, we need to calculate what is the initial quantity of copper and zinc, and from that we need to go to our basic problem. Next one. A and B are two alloys of gold and copper in the ratio 7:2. Okay. Alloy 1, A is one alloy. In that gold and copper are in what ratio? 7:2. Next, B is another alloy. In that gold and copper is in what ratio? 7:11. 7:11. If equal quantity of these two alloys are melted, that means equal quantity. See the similar one which we solved in our previous videos also. There the amount is fixed, but here actually in the alloys the quantities may be varied, but they clearly mention that equal quantities are mixed. Equal quantities are mixed. When equal quantities are mixed, that means this portion should be equal to this quantity. So as we solved earlier, the same concept we will apply here also, students. 7 plus 2 is total how much? 9. Total 9 parts, and this is total 18 parts. 18 parts. So I will multiply this with 2. I will multiply this with 2. So what happens to this now? 14 is to 4, and this one is the same 18 parts, no need to change anything, 7:11, 14:4 and 7:11. Okay, now we are mixing these two in equal quantities, that means same quantities, to form another alloy C. Okay, now I am mixing these two. I am mixing these two quantities. So when I mix these two, what I need to add them. So 14 plus 7 it becomes 21, 4 plus 11 it becomes 15. So now the new ratio between the gold and copper is what? 7:5. 7:5 is the ratio between the gold and copper in my new ratio. 7:5 is the new ratio between gold and copper in my new ratio. Right? Next one. Two mixtures A and B contains 80 liters and 60 liters mixture of milk and water. Okay. A is containing mixture of milk and water 80 liters and B contains 60 liters of mixture of milk and water in the ratio 5:3 and 7:5. Here the ratio is 5:3. Okay, milk and water. And here the ratio of milk and water is 7:5. 7:5. Okay, now see here students, directly in this what is the milk portion I have? Total 8 parts is 80, then 5 parts will become how much? Milk will become 50 liters and water becomes 30 liters here. When it comes to this one, total is how many parts? 12 parts. If 12 parts is 60, one part becomes what? 5. One part becomes 5. So, what is the milk portion I have here? 35. And water portion I will have here is 25. Milk portion is 35 and water portion is 35 for me here. So, now these are the two portions which I have. Now, if both mixtures are poured in a new vessel, now I poured these two in the new vessel, then what will be the ratio between the milk and water in the new vessel? What will be the ratio between the milk and water in the, now overall milk will become how much? 85 liters and overall water will become how much? 55 liters. Why? Because you are mixing these two, right? So now milk is to water. What it becomes? 85:35. 85:35. So 5 17s, 5 7s. So the ratio will become what? 17:7. So the new ratio becomes what for me here? Sorry, 55, not 35. So 17:11. 17:11. 17:11 will become my new ratio here. Next one. 3 containers A, B and C are having mixtures of milk and water in the ratio. Okay, there is A, B and C. Have mixtures of milk and water in the ratio of 1:5, 3:5, 5:7. They are in this ratio. Okay. If the capacities of the containers are in the ratio of, okay, this is milk and water ratio. And when it comes to the capacities, their capacities are in what ratio? 5:4:5. Their capacities are in the ratio of 5:4:5. Find the ratio of milk and water if the mixtures of all these containers are mixed together. Similar to our previous one only. But there they given us the quantities, but here they given us the relation between them. And at last also they asked us the relation between them. Now tell me how we can solve this problem. Now milk and water, overall parts is how much in this case? 6 parts. Overall parts is how much? 6 parts. Now what is the overall parts in this case? 8 parts. What is the overall parts in this? 12 parts. 12 parts. Now 6 parts, 8 parts and 12 parts, they are individually okay. Now to make them in the same line, to get back them into the same line, so what I need to do here is, and you will find the LCM of 6, 8 and 12. What is the LCM of 6, 8 and 12? LCM of 6, 8 and 12 is here for me 24. LCM of 6, 8 and 12 is 24. Now, if my capacities are in the multiples of 24, if my capacities are in the multiple, see here students, what actually happens is, for me while calculating, this is 1/5, right? 1 part of milk and 5 parts of water. And what is the total capacity I have here? 5. To calculate it, it becomes a little bit difficult for me. That means 1/5 of 5 parts and 5/5 of 5 parts. Next, similarly 3/8 of something, 3/5/8. So each one is individually, right? So to make them into the same line, what I will do is, I will try to multiply every capacity with 24. Then easily I can calculate the things. Only because of calculation easiness, I am taking the LCMs, nothing more than that. If you want, you can take them directly, but it will take a lot of time for us. So what I will do is, I multiply this capacities with 24. So when I multiply this with 24, 5 24s are, it becomes what? 120. Now when I multiply this with, 4 with 24 means it becomes what? 98. When I multiply C with this 5 with 24, it becomes 120. Now please see here, students. In 120, milk and water in what ratio? 1:5 ratio, right? 1:5 ratio. So easily I can solve it. Now 1:5 means milk will become how much in 120? Milk becomes how much? 20. And water becomes what for me here? 100. 1 and 20, right? Quantities are in ratio 120, 96 and 120. So milk and water will be 20 and 100. Now in this case, what will be milk and water for me here? Total 8 parts means each part will become 12. So this will become 36, milk will become 36 and water becomes what for me here? 60. And similarly here, total 12 means each part becomes 10. So milk will become what for me here? 50. When it comes to water, it becomes 70, 50 and 70. Now easily I can add all these things. Now all of them were mixed together. So what is the overall milk portion I have here? 20 plus 36, it becomes 56. 56 plus 50, it becomes 106. When it comes to water, 100 plus 60, 160. 160 plus 70, it becomes 230. 230. So I can further solve this. What you will get here? 53:115. So milk and water will be in what ratio? 53:115 ratio. 53:115 ratio. If this is not the case, definitely it will take a lot of time for us to solve the problem. What usually we need to do is, okay, let us solve this one with a traditional method, students. If I think the capacities are 5x, 4x and 5x. If their capacities are 5x, 4x and 5x. Okay, traditional method. So in first one, milk and water are in what ratio? 1:5, right? So what will be my milk portion? 1/6 of 5/6. That means x/6. So water will become 5x/6. Okay, good, superb. When it comes to this, what will be milk portion for me here? 3/8 into 4x. 3/8 parts of 4x. So 4 ones, 4 twos. So milk will become 3/2 of x. Okay. If milk is 3/2 of x, what about water for me in this case? Milk and water. What about water? What is the water value I will get here? Water is 5 parts. So 5/8 into 4x. So 4 ones, so 4 twos. This will become 5x/2 for me here. 5x/2. Okay, next similarly you need to do this one. We will solve it for your understanding. Okay. Why? This is the traditional method. Next, in case of milk here will become what? Milk is 5/12 into 5x. That will become 25x/12. When it comes to water, water becomes what for me here? 7/12 into 5x. This will become 35x/12. 35x/12. Now you need to add all the milk portions and water portions individually. So milk portion overall it will become what? 3x/2 plus 25x/2. Oh, sorry. First it is x/6 also is there, right? Okay, we will write it separately. 25x/12 and x/6. x/6. And similarly you need to add all the water portions. So milk portion what it becomes overall LCM will become 12 for me here. If LCM is 12, so 18x plus 25x plus 2x. 18x plus 25x plus 2x. Like this, you need to solve this one. Okay, you will get the milk portion and similarly water portion. And you need to add all those things. Okay, understood? In this manner, you need to solve these questions. Okay, 5x, x/6 into 5x means you will get here 5x actually. So 5x/16. So this will become 10. This will become 10x. Okay, and similarly 5x into 5, this will become 25x. Water portion becomes 25x/6. If you add all these things, anyway you will get here 53x/12. 53x/12. Okay, so this 12 and that 12 will get cancelled, 53 XX will get cancelled, you will be left with 53 parts and 115 parts. So this is the traditional method. It will waste a lot of time. So try to understand this one and try to solve. Next one. There are two vessels A and B containing 25 liters each of pure milk and pure water respectively. Okay. A is containing pure milk 25 liters. Okay. Next, when it comes to B, B contains pure water 25 liters. Okay, good, superb. Now, 5 liters of milk from A is taken and poured into B. Now, I have taken 5 liters of A from this and poured into B. So, now what happens in my A? I will have 20 liters of milk. When it comes to B, in B what I will have? In B, I will have water of 25 liters and milk of 5 liters. Why? Because I have taken out 5 liters and poured into B right now. Then 6 liters of mixture from B. Now, 6 liters of mixture from B was taken and it was poured back to A. Now, please see here students, once observe here. So, after adding 5 liters of milk to this B, what is the milk and water ratio in this case? Or else water to milk ratio? Water to milk ratio will become what? 25:5. This is 5:1. So, milk and water will be in what ratio in my B? It will be in 5:1 ratio. Now, see here students, assume there is a vessel. It contains some 20 liters of milk and 10 liters of water. 20 liters of milk and 10 liters of water in that vessel. Now, I will draw 3 liters from this. Tell me what quantity of milk and water will come out. Is it possible that only milk come out, taking out, or only water to come out? Is it possible that only milk or only water will come? No, definitely we will get a mixture. In whatever the ratio which they have, the same ratio they will come out. In whatever the ratio they have in that vessel, in the same ratio they will come out. That means, see here, milk and water are in what ratio? 2:1, right? So, when I draw 3 liters from this, I will get 2/3 of 3 liters. That means 2 liters of milk outside and 1 liter of water will come out. That means, in whatever the ratio in which they are present, the same ratio they will come out. Now, from this concept only, if you observe here, milk and water are in what ratio, or water and milk are in the ratio of 5:1. So, when I draw 6 liters from this, that means when I pour 6 liters from this one to this, in these 6 liters, what is the water quantity and milk quantity I will have? I will have 5/6 into 6 liters. This 6 liters, 5/6 means 5 parts out of 6 parts. Water will be of 5 liters. When it comes to milk, it will be of 1 liter. Why? Because out of 6, if water is 5 liters, 1 liter will become obviously milk. So, I will take back to this one. So, now what is my milk portion now in this one? It will become 21 liters. And what will be water portion in this? 5 liters. And finally, after this one, what will be water portion? Out of 25 liters, if 5 liters were taken to this side, it will have 20 liters. When it comes to milk, out of 5 liters, if 1 liter was taken to this side, it will become 4 liters. 4 liters. Now, they are asking us what is the ratio of water in A and B respectively. What is the ratio of water in A and B? In A, what is the water quantity I have? 5 liters. In B, what is the water quantity I have? 20 liters. 5 liters and 20 liters. So, this will become what for me here? 1:4. So, the water quantity in A and B becomes what for me here? 1:4 liters. The water quantity here becomes 1:4 liters for us. Okay. Next one. A can contains a mixture of two liquids A and B in the ratio 7:5. When 9 liters mixture are drained off and the can is filled with B, the ratio of A and B becomes 7:9. Okay. How many liters of liquid A was contained by the can initially? Okay. Now, please see here students. What they are telling is, a can contains a mixture of two liquids A and B. Okay. A and B. In what ratio? 7:5 ratio. Now, when 9 liters of mixture was drained out and the can is filled with B, the ratio of A and B becomes 7:9. Please be careful here, ma. Initially, we are taking out 9 liters of mixture. When I take 9 liters of mixture from this one, please tell me, when I draw overall, when I draw 9 liters of mixture from this, what happens to my ratio? Will it change or will it remain same? Definitely it will remain same. Even after drawing 9 liters. Why? Because when I draw 9 liters, in the same proportion it will come, but the ratio inside it will not get changed. When it will get changed means when I add liquid B. When I add liquid B, when it is filled with liquid B, then the ratio changes. Else the ratio remains same. Else the ratio remains same. When I draw 9 liters or 10 liters, it will come out in the same proportion and the ratio remains same initially. Now, when I add 9 liters, when I add 9 liters to this one, now the ratio became what? 7:9. Okay, after adding 9 liters to of liquid B, then the ratio became what? 7:9. Actually speaking, is there any change in the quantity of A? No, there is no change in the quantity of A, and luckily here for us, A quantity is same here. If they are not equal, first of all equal them. Anyway, here it is equal, right? So no need to worry. So B changed from 5 to 9, right? B changed from 5 to 9. That means 4 parts is equal to 9 liters for us here. 4 parts is equal to 9 liters for us here. Now, how many liters of liquid A was contained by the can initially? How many liters of liquid A was contained by the can initially? That is a question for us. Now, please see here, if 4 parts is 9 liters, what about 7 parts? What about 7 parts? 7 parts will become what for me here? 7 parts will become, 4 parts is 9 liters means each part will become 2.25 liters. So 7 parts will become, calculate this one, or else cross multiply it, you will get the answer 2.25. So 7 into 2.25, what you will get? 14 into 14 plus 1.75, you will get 15.75 liters here. But what it is, this is the after removing some quantity from this one. After removing some quantity from this one, it will become this much. But initially they are asking us the initial quantity. They are asking us the initial quantity. So when I draw 9 liters from this one, now tell me students, first of all, how much liters of liquid A will come out? 9 into, liquid A is 7 parts out of 12 parts, right? So 3 times and 4 times. 3 by 4 means what? 0.75. 0.75 into 7. 0.75 into 7. Calculate this, or else 21 by 4. 21 by 4. Calculate that as 21 by 4. That is very much easy for us. 21 by 4, that will become how much? 5.25. 5.25. Actually, initially we have taken out 5.25 and after finally we have in what quantity? 15.75. So initial quantity is equal to 15.75 into 5.25. This will become what? 21 liters. This becomes what? 21 liters. So the initial quantity of liquid A is how many liters here? 21 liters. 21 liters. Please observe here, students. When we draw some quantity, the proportion will not change. The quantities may change, but the proportion will not change. But when we add a new one, definitely the liquid A portion will not change, only the liquid B portion will be changed. So from that concept, anyway here both are 7 and 7, so no need to worry. If it is not equal, first of all we will equal them. In this case it is already equal, so no need to worry. Directly I have taken the difference. So 4 parts is 9 liters, 7 parts becomes what? 15.75. When it is 15.75, after drawing 9 liters from this one. So they are asking us initial quantity. So when I draw the 9 liters, what is the quantity of A came out means 5.25 liters. So that 5.25 plus this 15.75 will get me the answer as 21 liters. 21 liters. Understood? Next one. Now, a jar contains 120 liters of pure alcohol. From this 24 liters of alcohol is taken out and replaced with water. This process was repeated once more. Find the final. See here, students. We will solve this one with the traditional method for once and we will solve the same one with the formula. Okay. With the formula, we will get the answer very quickly and effectively. We will see both the methods actually here for us. So now what happens here is a jar contains 120 liters of pure alcohol, right? So initially the jar contains what? 120 liters. 120 liters. You should know the traditional method also. The reason is, I will tell you later. You should know this traditional and as well as the formula one, both. Now, I have taken out 20. From this 24 liters of alcohol was taken out and replaced with water. 24 liters of water is replaced. So now what happens after this first instance, the jar contains what now? It will contain 96 liters of alcohol and 24 liters of water. So now tell me what is the water and alcohol and water ratio in this one? Alcohol is to water will become what? 4:1. Why? Because 96 is to 24. 96 is to 20. Now from this I am drawing out 24 liters. Now when I draw 24 liters from this, is it possible for me that only alcohol comes out or only water comes out? No. Definitely we will get a mixture which is in the ratio of 4:1. So now tell me what is the alcohol quantity which will come out? 4/5 into 24. 4/5 into 24. So now what happens to my alcohol here? So 5 ones or else 96/5 also you can take. It is up to you, you can take any value. So 4.8. 4.8 into 4. 4.8 into 4. So what you will get here? 19.2. So 19.2 liters of alcohol will come out. 19.2 liters of alcohol will come out from this one. And when it comes to water, out of 24, if alcohol is 19.2, what about water? Water will become 4.8. Water becomes 4.8. Now to this we are adding 24 liters of what? Water. 24 liters of water. So finally the jar will contain what? 96 minus 19.2. What it becomes? 76.2 liters of alcohol. 76.2 liters of alcohol, and the remaining will be water, right? Okay, 24 minus 4.8, it will become what? 19.2. 19.2 plus 24, what it becomes? 19.2, and we are adding 24 liters of water to this one, right? So 19.2 plus 24, it becomes 43.2 liters or 43.8 liters. Sorry, 43.8 liters. It becomes 43.8 liters. 43.8 liters. Sorry, 76.8 liters we will have here, and 76.8 and liters of alcohol and 43.2 liters of water. 43.2 liters of water. 43.2 liters of water. So in this manner we will get the answer. For example, if one more time the process is done, then you need to do it once again, right? Then you need to do it once again. So obviously it is going to take a lot of time for us if it is more than 3 times. But in general we have a formula. Why we are learning this traditional method is, if the same quantity is replaced again and again, we can go with the formula. But if for the first instance, if we replace 20 liters, for the second instance, if we replace 30 liters and 40 liters, something like that, then definitely you should know the traditional method how to solve that one. Okay, if we see the formula, what we can have the formula is final quantity by initial quantity. The formula is final quantity by initial quantity is equal to 1 minus replaced quantity by total capacity whole to the power of n, where n is number of times the process is done. Number of times process is done. Process is repeated or done. Okay, n is equal to number of times the process is done or repeated. Okay, so this is the answer for us. So the final quantity of the alcohol they are asking us to find. So please see here they are asking about the final quantity of alcohol. Okay, so final quantity of, for example, the same question if they ask us the final quantity of water means, see here students, initially the jar doesn't contain any water. So if I take initial quantity as 0, it becomes a problem. So in that case also, find out the final quantity of alcohol only, and from the total subtract the alcohol, you will get water. Understood? So in this case, final quantity I don't know, I will assume it as some x. What is the initial quantity in that jar? The complete jar is filled with alcohol. So initial quantity is 120. That is equal to 1 minus, what is the replaced quantity? Every time I am replacing what quantity here? 24 liters. By what is the total capacity of this jar? 120. And this process was done for how many times? 2 times. First once it is replaced and then the process is repeated for one more time. So the process is done for how many times? 2 times. So what happens to me this one? X by 120 is equal to, what I will get here? 96 into 96 by 120 into 120. Understood? I am writing 96 into 96 and 120. Here 120, if I send here, it becomes 96 by 120. So directly I have written 96 into 96 by 1. So now please observe here, 120, 120 will get cancelled. 24 4s are, 24 5s are, will get cancelled. Next similarly 5 1s, 5, what you will get here? 19.2. So 19.2 into 4, when you multiply it, you will get that as 76.8 liters. So the final quantity here for me here is 76.8 liters. The alcohol is 76. So my suggestion is try to remember this formula. Final quantity by initial quantity is equal to 1 minus required quantity, replaced quantity by total capacity whole to the power of n. That is the formula which we are going to use. Now we will see one more problem. Now see here, a container contains 40 liters of milk. From this container, 4 liters was taken out and replaced by water. This process was repeated further 2 times. That means overall the process was done for how many times? 3 times. How much milk is now contained in the container? We know that final quantity by initial quantity. I will assume final quantity is X and initial quantity is what? A container contains 40 liters of milk. That is equal to 1 minus, what is the replaced quantity? Each and every time we are replacing 4 liters and the total capacity of jar is also 40 liters. And whole to the power of, and this process was done for 3 times. This process was done for 3 times. So now what happens to this? X by 40 is equal to, if you solve this, you will get 36 into 36 into 36. I am intentionally writing like this, by 40 into 40 into 40. Okay, so now 40 40 will get cancelled. In 4 table 4 9s 4 10s. In 4 table 4 9s 4 10s. Don't cancel them, students. Simply multiply it. Why? Because in denominator 100 means you can put a decimal points there. So 9 9s are 81. 81 into 36. Okay. 36 into 81. So what you will get here for us? 6 times and 48 times, 3 times and 24 times. So what you will get here? 6, 1, 1, 9, 21.96, 29.16 liters. Why? Because by 100, right? So 2 decimal points. So the final quantity of milk in this jar is 29.16 liters. If you know the formula, you will get the answer quickly. Else it will take a lot of time for us to solve the same problem. Understood? Like this, you need to solve the problems carefully. Next one. Fresh fruit contains 80% of water and dry fruit contains 15% of water. How many kgs of dry fruit can be obtained out of 255 kg of fresh fruit? Okay. Now please see here, students. Fresh fruit contains what? 80% of water. Okay. So that means in 255 kgs, what is the fresh fruit? Fresh fruit contains 80% of water, right? What about that remaining 20%? That 20% we can call it as pulp. That one we call it as pulp or fruit quantity or pulp. So if 80% is water, what about the pulp? Water is of 80% and pulp will be of what? 20%. Now tell me, what is 80% means what? 4 by 5. 80% is 4 by 5. So 255 into 4 by 5. 255 into 4 by 5. 255 into 4 by 5. What you will get here? 5 1s, 5, 5s and 1s. So 51 4s are 204 kgs of water I will have. And when it comes to pulp, so out of this one, if 204 is of what you can say water, what will be my pulp quantity? It will be 51 kgs. My pulp quantity will be 51 kgs. If you want to solve, you can solve this one also. How you can solve? 20% means 1 by 5 into 255. Like this also you can tell 51 kgs will be of pure pulp. Pulp will be of what quantity? 51 kgs. When it comes to water, it will be 204 kg. Now when it comes to the dry fruit, what is the dry fruit is having? A dry fruit contains 15% of water. Okay. Dry fruit contains 15% of water. So, water is to pulp ratio, tell me in a dry fruit. Water is of 15 percentage. When it comes to pulp, pulp is of 85 percentage. Water is 15 percentage and pulp is of 18 percentage. So, what will be the ratio? 3 is to 17. 3 is to 17. That means pulp will be of 17 parts and water will be of 3 parts. Water will be of 3 parts. Now, please observe here. According to the question, this 51 kg is equal to 17 parts. Why? Because that is the pulp I have here. So, 17 parts is equal to 51 kg means what I am doing here into 3. Into 3. Now, tell me what about the water quantity in that one? What about, see, anyway, the pulp quantity will remain same. Only the water quantity will change depending on the remaining categories. But the pulp quantity will remain same. So, 17 into 3 it becomes 51. So, what is the water quantity I will have here? 3 into 3, the same portion. You will have 9 kgs of water. So, that means overall weight is how many parts? 20 parts, right? Very clearly. 3 plus 17 is 20 parts. If 17 parts is 51 kgs, what about 20 parts? It will become 60 kgs. 20 parts will become how much? 60 kgs. So, how much quantity of dry fruit I will get here is 60 kgs of dry fruit I will get. So, first of all I calculated the pure pulp. Okay, pure pulp is 51 kgs. But in dry fruit, pure pulp will be of what category? 17 parts. If 17 parts is 51 kgs, what about the total dry fruit quantity? 20 parts. 20 parts will become how much? 60 kgs for me here. Okay, understood? Next one. In an office, 1200 employees are joined. Okay, the ratio of urban to rural members of the staff is 8 is to 7. After joining of some new employees, out of which 20 are rural, the ratio becomes 5 is to 4. The number of new urban employees are. Okay, now see here students, total strength is 1200. Okay, good, superb. In that, urban to rural. Urban is of how many parts? 8 parts and rural is of 7 parts. Okay, so now tell me what is the urban strength or the office strength for us here? 8 by 15 into 1200. 8 by 15 into 1200, so 15, 8 is there. So 640 will be from urban and the remaining, what is the 560 will be from the rural. If you calculate, you will get the same answer. Okay, now to this, what is happening is some new people were joined, out of which 20 are rural. That means 20 people joined in the rural. So, what is my new rural strength for me here? 580. Because of this, the ratio became what? 5 is to 4. Because of this, the ratio became what? 5 is to 4 for us here. So, 4 parts is 580. 4 parts is 580. Then 5 parts will become how much? Calculate it. 4 parts is 580 for me here. So, 5 parts will become how much? So, if you observe carefully, 4 into what you will get? 58, 580. How you will get 580? 140. Am I correct? 145 or else 4 or else consider it as x, whatever it may be. You can take anything. 4x is equal to 5 into 580. So, 4 ones. 4 when you calculate it, what you will get? 1 time. Next 18 means 4 times and 5 times. So, 145 times. So, similarly 5 into 145. 5 into 145. What you will get? 700 plus 25, 725. So, now the strength became what? 725. So, from 640 to 725. That strength was changed from 640 to 725. So, what is the increase here? 85 candidates. So, that means the number of candidates, new urban employees are how many here? 85 candidates. So, 85 new urban employees joined in the company. Okay. Right. With this, we finished one set of questions. We are left with one more type of question, that are number of coins or coins based questions we will see in our next session. Thank you.